So what's going on, beautiful people? I hope everybody's enjoying the start to their day. You know what I'm saying? We're here. I told y'all phase 2 is in commencement. We're bringing it live to you. I told you something special was going to happen. A spectacle is on the way. We are here live and reporting to you, in the podcast is here, baby.
Oh, man, he crazy.
We are here. And so, beautiful people, this has been
a long,
you know what I'm saying? But I was going to like this a little bit more towards like the ending of my spiel and let him go into this, you know what I'm saying? But I really wanted to bring something live to you guys where, it's been a long time in the making of everybody asking me, wanting to have something that's more of like a dialogue or expanding upon certain topics and really going in depth as to, how impacting some of these topics are. And, some of them are going to be new. Some of them are going to be like old revisited ones, but we wanted to bring something authentic, something raw, something genuine, and that you're still getting the positive, takeaways as well as just the insightful dialogues. And there was no other better person that I thought about doing this with than, my guy, Yemster, Yemster, that we always go back and forth about a lot of different topics. And so I'm going to let him take things away, while I like this positivity.
Y'all. This is, my real name is Yemi, but I go by Yemster. And, me and my friend did a test, and apparently not a lot of people know me by Yemster. But I'm trying to change the narrative. I want y'all to start calling me Yemster from now on. So if you know me, you don't have to ask me for a favor. Just call me Yemster, man. It's gonna make my day. My real name is Yemi. Well, Adi Yemi, if we want to be, technical. But I'm the photographer. We behind the Yellow Talk stuff. And this guy was like, "Yo, Yemi, I'm trying to start a podcast. Blah blah blah. I want you to be." Like a child. I want you to be my co-host, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. I'm here for it. If I have my shades on, take me serious. If I have my shades off, take me even more serious. Because I'm not playing when I take my shades off, but I'm always playing. So what that mean? Anyways, though, ladies and gentlemen, not for real, it's good to be here. And, we got a good topic for y'all today, and we're just going to kick right into it.
Wait, but hold on, though. You can't just, like,
you
can't forget my man Meech in the back.
Yeah, my fault.
We have our great guy in the back, Mr. Meech. Follow him at Meech. Great guy.
Queen's photography for the
Vision.
Queen Vision.
Photographer. our technician, man. Like, this guy is a jack of all trades. You gotta love him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is the team right here. You know what I'm saying?
It's a dream team.
This is the dream team. We came together. It wasn't something that happened overnight. This really just was something that naturally, we came together over time. That some of us really just saw like a vision with Yellow Talks.
It was me.
And
it was me. Nah.
No, but he was one that kind of came into the fold. Boom. And he was like, I see something really big going on with this. And then Meech, same thing. Meech was like, can I be down?
Yeah, Meech gonna be in front of the camera at some point though. It's just Meech is like eating sandwiches and playing freaking
the switch.
But
you're gonna hear Meech chime in. You know what I'm saying?
Meech say it louder.
So why you gonna blow my spot?
Yeah. Just then people know what to expect from you.
But y'all are gonna hear, you know what I'm saying, a lot of great conversations going on. But nonetheless, I'm gonna give y'all the title of this, right? Because it's not just Yellow Talks.
Get it.
It's not just Yellow Talks.
Oh yeah.
We came together and agreed upon this title of this podcast because we saw it as something that symbolized everything that we wanted to do. And so it's not Yellow Talks, baby. This is Yellow Talks with the Fam.
So it's not Yellow Talks, right? It's Yellow Talks with the Fam.
I don't know what.
That's how you sound. It's just Yellow Talk with the Fam.
I hate this, man.
That's it. But not Yellow Talks though. We got a yellow table. We got a yellow cup. It's actually no. The cups are on purpose. Double cup. Always.
Well, I got
always double cup.
I'm not cool like this.
Yeah, you're
guy.
not like that. It's not alcohol. It's not. What is it called? What is it, Joe?
That's kefir.
Kefir. So apparently people don't drink kefir just like that.
It's like yogurt. It's like low fat, like yogurt milk.
Good.
But
John slaps.
He likes it by himself. But nonetheless, like we thought of this title because of the simple fact that this team in itself is a family. And we're gonna be interviewing people that we admire, people that we see that are doing great things. Yeah. And when you're on this platform we view you as family. We view
That's
you as somebody who is doing, just phenomenal.
Or at least we value your opinion.
And
Or we want to talk smack about you, so we're going to do it to your face. Because at the end of the, I mean, listen, there's no slander on this podcast, right? We're not trying to name drop nobody, but if we're going to talk about something, if it's not something that we're necessarily entitled to speak about, we're going to have somebody here to represent, We're not here to talk smack about nothing. And we also, I think we don't curse, right?
No.
We don't curse. This is a family event. This is a family podcast. So you can please see your kids. Your kids can learn from this. Play for your mom, your grandma.
This is just a positive atmosphere, a real challenging atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because we're here to push one another. We're not just here to just,
sometimes
agree
physically
all the time.
I don't even like him.
He said,
I don't even like him.
But nonetheless, what I'm saying, we thought of this topic to really kick things off, right? Something that we really didn't foresee being so as like impacting as it was, but we saw from you all as like viewers how much it really hit to the chest, and how much you
just making sure.
He had to do a heat check real quick.
Don't check me though. I can't take it.
Needless to say, and it was just, it really spoke to us, and it really spoke to you all, and so.
A lot of feedback, a lot of views.
The topic of today, beautiful people, is ignoring the red flags, baby. Yeah, we're gonna get a new one. This one is just
wait, no, I still like it though. Can I have it?
Yeah, he yeah.
That's how you do it. It's because you can order the two.
Oh,
it smells like fish.
Oh no.
But
nonetheless, all right. We had to kick things off. Lovely. Give y'all a little backstory. Give y'all a little funny intro. Of just this is positive. This is fun.
That's what we're here for, man.
We're here for a good time.
Good time and a long time.
Good time, long time. Let's get to the positivity.
Yeah. Red flag. You kick it off, man. Kick it off.
So to kick things off, I want to ask you, big guy, what is a red flag?
Okay.
What is that?
So for me, red flags. Listen, I'm gonna be sharing opinions and probably examples with things that I've been through, all that kind of stuff. So for me, when you define red flag, I see it as a subjective reaction or subjective action or just a thing from depending on the person you're dealing with, or depending on like an interaction with somebody. Because one of the things that I came to realize is red flags is different based on the person. So like, for example, I don't know, if a shorty does not use deodorant, that might be a red flag to me. But if she's dealing with someone else that's not necessarily too high on hygiene, he might not care. So that might not be a red flag to him. So I think at the end of the day, red flags is very subjective to the person you're dealing with, in a sense. But ultimately, red flag is still a red flag. I think there also might be universal red flags, just things that you don't like. So if I was to really try to define what a red flag is, it's just things that should basically be a non-negotiable for every individual in terms of what they don't want to put up with, or what they see as not compatible with what they want, or what they like, or their perception of life overall. So that's my definition of red flag. What's your take? I know there's multiple ways to go about looking into red flags. So let me hear what you got to say about that.
Yeah, no, I was going to
say. Feel free to challenge me too, by the way.
Yeah, of course. That's what I do. That's what I do at the end of every talk. I gotta challenge the people. I gotta challenge you, of course.
So good. I'm here for it.
But nonetheless, my understanding of what a red flag is just something that I just really can't just like is I can't tolerate like around like my space or like what I'm observing like you do, and that just makes me like uneasy, uncomfortable, and understand, beautiful people, when we're talking about ignoring red flags, this is not just pertaining to romantic relationships. This can also be about your social relationships that you have with like your friends or family members.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So don't get caught up in the not the norm, but the assumption that when people talk about red flags, it's mainly geared towards just
romantic relationship.
your romantic relationships.
Not the case.
That's not the case here. And so for me, it's really about just things that just make me uncomfortable and uneasy. Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head with a lot of other things as well, because from what I got from what you were sharing is that it really does sound like just preferences, when we're talking about red flags. And I think that that's something very important because, like you said, we all have different levels of understanding on what we consider red flags.
Right.
Because what may be a red flag to you may not be a red flag to me. And I just may be chilling like this while you're like cringing.
Yeah, and I'm always cringing though. I dislike people. I don't dislike anyone.
And so I'm gonna challenge you, right?
All right, let's get it.
So now the challenge is, right, we're talking about other people being the red flag. What if you're the red flag?
Oh, absolutely.
What do you do in that situation? Like, you are the red flag. So, you are the problem.
So if I'm the problem, chances are I already know. Because I feel like I'm self-aware enough, and you can kind of gauge people's behavior or response to you as a whole. At least I can. I have the ability to know when someone is bothered by something that I say, because also people are not really good at hiding what bothers them. So I know when I'm a red flag, and I would say some of my red flag that's been pointed out to me like a week ago in recent news is that I have a very logical way to deflect a lot of things. And which makes sense because I think I'm a very logical person. And the example is, I was talking to one of my friend, and she said, why don't you speak to your parents more often? Like, why don't you call your dad more often or call your mom more often? And in my mind, I'm like, I've asked myself this question plenty of times. Like, what is it? Why is the reason why I don't hit them up like that? And it's because, well, here's my logic. Here's the logic that I give myself. I said, because I didn't get a phone till I was in like 11th grade in college. And sorry, in high school. Like 10th, 11th grade. That's when I got a phone. So I wasn't raised to be in communication with them from a very young age. I wasn't raised to always pick up the phone and give them a call. The only thing it was a house phone. That was it. If I get home, the phone rings, I pick it up. That's it. Right? No cell phone, no texting through the day. There's no daily communication. And I'm in my room for most of the time. So, from when I went away to college, I wasn't really always on my phone. I wasn't really hitting them like that. My mom is the one that always calls me like, every 2-3 days, like, you don't know how to, you don't call nobody. Like, what's the matter? You can't call nobody. She don't say it like that. She says in Yoruba, but if y'all know Jerome in the house, y'all get the little reference. What's the matter? You can't call nobody. But that's a little, black television for me. But anyways, so in my head, I was like, that's why I don't call my mom every day, because I was raised in a way that did not allow me to speak to them every day, and same for my dad. And when I told her, she was like, that just sounds like a very logical way to say what? Like, it just didn't. She was like, at the end of the day, those are your parents. You don't know where they're going to go. I'm like, I know they're not going nowhere. I have faith. I know they're not going nowhere. They're going to live long. But, it was just the fact that she pointed it out, and it kind of got me thinking a little bit deeper. And we actually came to the conclusion that, I came to the realization that it's just because when I do speak to my parents, it's a quick conversation, right? I don't like the fact that there's not much more to speak on. And I didn't want it to be like, maybe there's like a forced conversation when we do speak. So, that was the reason why I was avoiding. So, we got to the bottom of it, but nonetheless, I realized it was a red flag because, once again, I always find a logical way for me to justify what I'm doing, and that tends to happen a lot. It just took someone.
He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer.
Listen, first, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a recruiter. Nah, JK. It's just because that's just how I've been programmed. And it's just, I think, one of my red flags, like if I was to sum it up, my red flag is just my logical way of finding excuses.
And I think you hit an even like more interesting topic, right? Of just how sometimes we can be lawyers for ourselves,
right? But
then judges of others, right?
Oh, of course.
And that is like a very like funny thing that I watch even myself do. You know what I'm saying? That I'm very quick to like be defensive about, right, like when people call me out on my stuff. but then I'm very quick to, I don't want to say pass judgment, but give an opinion
right.
to somebody else.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I just use the term judge, because, judges, obviously, they have,
judge.
they judge and they give their opinion and they make an ultimatum.
So what are some of your red flags that you've noticed?
About myself?
Tell them. Don't hold back.
Oh, yeah, no.
Get deep. Get personal.
I was about to say, it took me a long time to, like, really understand this about myself, and somebody really had to point this out to me, and this was, like, one of, like, my big bros that really did this to me when he and I were roommates. But I'm an over-communicator.
Yep.
It is something that is a huge... you know what I mean?
Facts. If y'all didn't hear me, she said facts.
Nobody asked y'all, all right? Now, ask me a question, I'm being honest right now, all right? So I'm an over-communicator, and for certain people, that's a positive thing. For a lot of people I've come across, it's a negative, just for the simple fact that, like, I don't get to the point as easily. And it's something I struggle with because I used to feel... I don't even want to say anxious, but I didn't like the fact that, like, when I explained things to people, everybody always looked at me like I had 8 heads. Sometimes when I tried to be very simplistic about what I was trying to get across. So,
do you think maybe you just have a weird way to, like, of words? Like, do you think that's what it is? You just have a weird way of explaining things? Because I'll be honest, even when you try to explain things to me, I'd be looking at you like you got 8 heads.
Okay, so that's another plot twist. So I do understand the fact that, like, sometimes I guess my choice of words
you speak like Yoda.
Because to me, I believe sometimes it makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And then when I look at how people like yourself respond to me, I'm like, I thought I was making sense, but clearly I'm not. So, which then leads me into an overload. So that's one of my red flags. Another one of my red flags is I tend to be impatient sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And
I haven't really experienced that from you like that much, though, to be honest.
Yeah, no. I that's why I say sometimes. It's more so like I acknowledge it more so when I'm ready to go and other people aren't, so I get antsy. Okay. And other people don't always, like, appreciate that, because sometimes I can come off aggressive and I'm like, yo, I'm ready to go. And if you're not ready, I'll leave you. You know, type of thing. And I try my best. Like I said, I'm working on it because I know and acknowledge that there are times that I am late and people are patient for me.
What red flags have your, like, partners pointed out
about me?
Yeah, like romantic partners. Is it the same as, like, your friends point out, or is it different?
I would honestly say I think dang, that's a great one. I think one that I have been spoken to about is the way it was either the way I communicate about things or the fact that I over communicate.
Okay, so it comes.
No. So I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It is not over communicating. It was the fact that I was very big on talking about things there and now. Like, I was very, like, adamant about, like, we have a problem. We're going to sort this thing out right now. And a lot of people don't move like that. A lot of people need time. They need space. They need to reflect. Me, I'm like, nah, we're knee deep in the kitchen. It's getting hot. Let's start cooking, you know? And a lot of people don't like that. And I had to really grow to understand that that's not everybody's vibe. So you got to respect that.
Okay, what's next?
All right, man. Let's keep it hot. Let's keep it going.
Actually, I think I got a question.
Oh, you got one. You got one. All right. Man.
So I brought this up a little earlier when we talking about red flags. To an extent, I think it's also kind of like non-negotiables, right? Mm-hmm. So now let's flip the script a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. We just talked about our red flags, and also for you guys out there, I want y'all to also ask yourself these questions. What are some of your red flags? And if you don't know your red flags, ask your friends what your red flags are if they know. Because you never know. You never know. And I'm sure your friends will have a lot to say about it. But also ask, like, your romantic partners or just people that you're very close with or people that you even work with. Ask them what are the things that you do that are kind of like red flag vibes. So now let's flip a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. What are red flags to you? And when I say that, I want you to also think about, like, things that you could consider non-negotiables for yourself. right? What are things that you perceive? It could be from work. It could be, matter of fact, give us an example. I want you to just give us one example from your romantic life.
Why you always challenging me on like romance, yo? I like he really wants me to put it out there for y'all beautiful people.
No names though.
Like about my struggles romantically.
We're not gonna say no names. Actually, no. I lied. I know. Don. What's his last name? Mr. Mayers. Donovan Mayers. Don Deuce on Instagram. That's my guy. I will name drop you on this. I will name drop you. So keep listening because I will name drop you and I'll tell you why you're a red flag. But that's my guy though. Okay, but yeah, talk about like kind of like things that you couldn't put up with, or maybe there were things you did put up with, and just talk about why.
Okay, so I will talk about the first one. So things that are just non-negotiables for me. I think for me, just to quickly like just sum it up, communication. Like if you can't communicate, whether that be hold a conversation, have an uncomfortable conversation, I think those are things that, I just can't like, not that I can't tolerate, because tolerate is tough, but it's just like non-negotiable in the sense of just like, if we can't talk about things, whether that be like word vomit, you know what I'm saying? And for those that don't know what like word vomit is, like just say what's on your mind, speak about it, say what's on your chest, you know what I'm saying? And even if it doesn't make sense, we can make sense of it together. And once again, this is not just intimately. This is literally, this goes for like my friends, this goes for my family, this goes for my colleagues. Like say it with your chest, man.
So have you what have you put up with, right? In terms of that then, like, has there been a time when someone was showing you like some of those red flags that you don't like, but you dealt with it? Oh yeah. So like. Oh yeah. Let's get into it.
So for me,
don't name no names.
No. This was not naming no name. I definitely came across people in my lifetime, and this is both like intimately and socially, where people have navigated around me where it is what it is. I am who I am. And I kind of just like overlooked it. Like I didn't like challenge it. I didn't like push upon it because
that's what that was the vibe the person was given, or like
I am who I am. I'm not changing for nobody. Like take me as like just very like firm on that. And once again, I'm not telling nobody to change who you are and how you are, but I will acknowledge like things that just make me uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of those times I never challenged those people immediately on those things. I overlooked it because I saw the potential in who they were. And I even stuck up for them in instances when people were like, you don't see how crazy this person is? You don't see how this person moves a little bit weird? And you just kind of like just put up with it, or you make excuses for it or justify it. And you know, you don't see those things a lot of times when you're invested in people. You know?
So how did you overcome that, or how did you end up dealing with it? Like, did you just how long did you put up with that though?
So on an intimate scale, I'm not gonna lie, I put myself through a ringer.
What the hell?
And all right, so to clarify, what the ringer
common sense is not always common. I'm not even from here.
So for when I say the ringer, it just technically in my terms of how I'm using it, I put myself through this for a long period of time. So I would say for like a year and some change, of just dealing with this person's behavior and people trying to tell me about this person.
You put up with a red flag for a year?
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. She must be beautiful. She must be hot.
And I saw the potential in this woman, and it was just, you know, I couldn't see it until something really drastic happened that shifted our relationship.
I want to tell you to talk about it so much, but I'm not. I'm not gonna put you. I'm gonna let you slide on that one. So we're not gonna dive too deep into that.
I'm not doing all that.
Tell me everything.
But that shifted our relationship to the point where it opened up my eyes to a lot. And it took for that to happen. When things shouldn't take, it shouldn't even gotten to that point for me to do that. and this person is in a better place. We had the conversation about a lot of this stuff, so we're on better terms now. Dope person. Listen, you know what I'm saying? And so
whoever you are, if you are listening to this, you need to do better. I'm joking. JK.
But anyways. But yeah, that was that part.
All right, so let me give my example of when I had to put up with a red flag or dealt with a red flag.
Kick it.
So like I said, Donovan.
Don Deuce.
That's my guy. Let me tell you why you're a red flag. But this is just one example, just so you can see how this plays into how your friends could be, portraying some red flags to you, and just, and what to do about it. Because I don't know if I went about it the right way, which is also a question I want to pose to you guys. I don't know if I went about it the right way, and I also want to know what you guys would have done. Now, think of someone that, that got you into just overall being creative, right? Because me and Don were doing, like, he was the one that kicked me off on this photography stuff. Him and Job started the Rebellious Captures joint, and they were just doing, they were getting into it. And I wanted to be a part of that. And so, well, they're both doing great right now, by the way. Hit them up in New York City. Don Deuce and Shot by Smooth, the vibe. So, they were getting into it and everything. And how we give up? Wait, we just give them a shot. We didn't even give up. What? Never mind. We'll talk about that. But we was getting into it together and everything. And so, it's just something that I value their opinion every time. If I wanna put a project out or take photos or anything it is, I always ask them because I value their opinion. So, that's how tight we are. So this is when I started trying to set up an indoor studio and everything. I got a ring light, right? So Don was like, yo, bro, can I borrow your ring light? I need it for X, Y, and Z in the crib, yada, yada, yada. I said, all right, bro, you good. You could use it. Don loses it. The joint never came back. And I was like, okay.
Red flag.
Red flag. I was like, all right, so this man, okay, cool. It is what it is. That's my bro, but, that's my light. But it's okay. It's all right. We could work with that, right? So next time come around, he needed a tripod, right? I had a tripod. He needed a tripod because I don't know what happened to his. But he was like, yo, can I use it, blah, blah. And I was like, of course, like, you could use it, And I completely ignored the previous incident. And I was like, at the end of the day, in my head, I'm like, okay, it wouldn't happen twice. It happened twice. The podcast never came back. I don't know what happened to the podcast. He did buy it back. He did buy another one back, but I didn't know what happened to it. So that was a red flag again. Now, fast forward to probably like a year later, he was handling business in the city. This is when he was on his stuff. He was on his work. He was getting it, and he needed an extra camera to kind of like film something that he wanted to get, a project. So he asked for my camera, and I was like, okay, like I did give it to him. But I did mention that, hey, just so you know, you lost the ring light, you lost the tripod. This is my bread and butter. This is my money maker. And I gave it to him still. He did return it, but it was just like, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, was that me ignoring red flags? Because I said, that's my guy, that's my bro, and he wouldn't ask for things if he didn't need it. So I did give it to him. So like, yeah, I know it's a red flag, but like, would you guys consider that something, or would you even consider that, a major thing? Like, would you have given him the camera, basically?
So now, if you ask me, right, I would have still given him the camera.
Okay.
Just because I am that type of guy that, once again, I'm able to just assess situations.
Okay.
And I think in that particular situation itself, it was something of a high level of importance. And I know when just anybody who I know, I observe you well enough that you're very invested in your craft, or just as like a person in what you're doing, I'm going to support that, and I'm always like, give you what you need. Even if I don't really got it like that, I will do my best to do so. But that's just me. But I know you all may feel a little bit different. I'll give you another chance. I'll let you do it again, and sometimes, that person may not do it again, and, everything is cool, or that person may continuously do it to you, and you're just kind of like, that's my people's.
Yeah.
And so
it's also entirely possible that, that in itself is a red flag. Like us just, accepting things like that. So just in a way, because I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you're ignoring red flags could be a red flag.
I didn't even repeat that. Well, that is yes.
Well, that's
a red flag.
That's what a lot of people do too, though. And I've had friends in bad, toxic relationships that just weren't good, and they see all the red flags because it's very reoccurring, but they stay in the same situation. So sometimes, and I think I questioned one of my friends on that before. Like I really had to ask them, like, yo, like, do you not see the repeating patterns of X, Y, Z of said individual? And the response is always like, I know, like I see it, like yeah, it's obvious, but like because then I had to ask, like, so what are you looking for? Like why are you putting up with that? Like so that's just food for thought. Throwing it out there. Yeah.
That's really a plot twist in itself because I think that kind of sums up like a red flag in itself of not accepting reality and trying to look more for just so much of like the positives and good in people. So fact versus potential is really very important. And that's even like so
would you say optimism?
That's what I was about to say. My optimism about life is even a red flag. Could be a red flag potentially because I'm so gung ho on like trying to find the gung ho. You never heard that figure of speech before?
Don't explain it. Don't explain it.
Yo, this man be making me feel crazy about
gung ho. Like what the hell? Like what are we 70?
Whatever. I'm an old soul. But needless to say, it's very interesting because I'm so like out there. Like even as bad as things can get, people will try and tell me like, Ant, this is it's a done deal. It's dead. Whatever the case may be, we're moving forward. And I'm like, no, there's something that we can salvage from this. Something that we could do from this, and that's even toxic at times in itself because, it's good, but then it's bad because, you're not accepting defeat, which is great. Yeah. But then sometimes you're just not accepting of like, hey, there may just be another way that we have to do this.
No, I know. I think the term is. I've been saying this for weeks. Sunk cost fallacy or folly. It's just when you've invested so much time or effort into something or someone, and it's like you don't want to change. You just want to see it through, even though it's not necessarily helpful to your situation. So yeah, no, I totally get you, man. I totally get you.
So I'm gonna ask you this one, right? So this one right here that I got for you is, do you think red flags can be worked through? Like when you talked about non-negotiables and all these things and how we defined red flags, right? Can somebody work through a red flag and create it into something that's positive or just shift the dynamics of a relationship?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes because people do change and people can change. So I think it's gonna come down to something that you would really favor is the fact. I think it has to be spoken about, right? It has to be spoken about. And I think if you could talk about it with the person, if they make the adjustments, then of course you could work through it. Like for example, one of my guys. Well, I think it's an example. One of my guys didn't like being addressed as the N-word back in college. So like the most at least I could do is at least give him that respect to not say that word. I try not to even say the word around him at all if I were to. And to him, the N-word was like a red flag in a sense. And I had to just adjust. So we worked through that, and we were able to stay around each other with just being comfortable around each other just every time. So that's an example of, I think, maybe it's not a massive example, but that's just how my mind is working right now. I think as long as someone is able to make a shift or make a change, that's if they're also willing to make the change or shift. Because one of the first questions I always ask myself when it comes to dealing with people overall or people putting up with me is like, am I even justified to feel this way about something? So like, kind of flipping back on my red flags. Am I justified to feel this way? Am I justified to be affected by what this person is saying? That is a red flag to me. And if the answer is, yes, I am justified, then I could address it. If the answer is no, I'm not really justified because they don't owe me anything, then it's just like, I don't care and I'm just going to move on, And I'll probably just ignore it. So that's how, for me, I would take it. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm in my head a lot, so I don't know. Yeah, it's okay to disagree with me.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So I like that because you are self-aware. So you ask yourself a question before you then challenge, the person that is that you're having this. You
always got to look within first, with.
And that's something to really like acknowledge, right? Beautiful people, just like when you are having just situations with people, are you willing to have those uncomfortable talks? And it kind of just even goes to the challenge of what the talk was leading about when the initial talk came out. Of just, are you willing to have those uncomfortable conversations and discuss those boundaries? Right?
So do you think you could talk about maybe how what has worked for you? How have you trained your mind or yourself to be able to deal with red flags or stop? And the topic is stop ignoring red flags. Yeah. So what have you done to stop ignoring red flags in your life overall?
The topic is ignoring red flags. But we here to stop them.
That's the whole idea.
We here to stop them.
That's the takeaway.
So that is the takeaway. So how I trained my mind is I had to be willing to lose something. Wow. And when I say lose something, a lot of us sometimes have a cake and eat it too mentality, or we just don't want to deal with the drama of things. And I had to come to terms with that things are going to get shaky, things are going to get uncomfortable, and one of us may walk away from this. One of us, we may not like what the other has to say. We may not even be friends or boyfriend, girlfriend after this, or we may not be on the same page as family, you know what I'm saying? But at least one thing that was for certain was, one, it was off my chest, and I remained solid in my morals and beliefs, as well as just we were you can't say I wasn't honest and straight with you. So that's how I really trained myself, because initially I was like, I don't want to deal with the headache. I'ma just, not deal with it per se, but learn how to, just kind of figure out, I guess, how to make things better within this relationship that I have with these people. Gotcha. But you can't do that.
So okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I've kind of touched up on it a little bit before. How I go about it is, first self-awareness, and kind of like what you said in there a little bit is you have to stand your ground on what you say and what you believe in order for someone else to take you seriously. So I'll just say the first step was kind of understanding what my non-negotiables were. And I'll be honest, I'm still kind of figuring that out, and I think it's something that I think it's very possible that it changes over time. So I try to figure out what my non-negotiables are, things that I just can't put up with, like loud chewing, can't deal with it. I know it sounds petty, but I can't deal with it. But there are things that go a little bit deeper than that, and I just kind of think, how could I set these boundaries with people? And I've also realized that everything literally usually always comes down to communication. And I think, the mindset that you said of having, potentially losing something or something would probably be extracted. I think that's something that's very new, and I'm going to think about that a little bit more too and just see how that goes. So, and we're kind of posing the question to you guys too. If you guys, what are some red flags that you guys have put up with in your times? What are some red flags that you've dealt with? How are you guys going about bettering yourself overall, and just to not ignore those red flags? And
also, how do you know when it's a red flag? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's even a challenge within itself. But I noticed between both of our experiences and just this dialogue within itself that if it's something that's reoccurring, and it's bothering you, that's a red flag.
Right.
Like if it's bothering you and you just are like, yeah, no, it's just eating at me. I gotta say something or I'm gonna explode. But still, I pose that question to you. Have those self-reflective conversations. And so, as we always kind of come to a close with these things, right? The challenge, right? The challenge and the takeaways, And so this, I don't know, I guess I'll kind of kick things off. Like my biggest like takeaway from this topic, and when we dropped it initially, and I still stand on it even within this dialogue, is getting uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Wow.
And that's a big thing to me, because not only because I'm a conversationalist, but it's just you gotta be willing to go through the nitty gritty, the conversations that are gonna cause you the headaches, to really get to understand the root of the problem and how things can shift, change, and you may still agree to disagree on things, but at least one thing is gonna be understood though, is that there's this newfound respect.
Okay.
You
would hope so, though.
You would hope so. You would hope so, because that's just really where I stand upon things, of just like, we understand, we respect, we may not agree, but at least you understand and you respect where I'm coming from. And once again, that is the hope. But yeah, that's my takeaway, folks. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah,
and of course, we're always looking, you guys share your opinions with us as well. We could potentially expand on it. But like he said in the very beginning, it was a topic that we feel like we got a lot of response from. And I say we because I'm part of the whole Yellow Talk stuff behind the scenes. But I feel like it's something that we got a lot of feedback on, and we just wanted to put that out there to you guys. And, we're hoping to talk about things that are a little bit more controversial, or a lot more controversial going down the line. But, that's what we're bringing to you guys.
Wait, but you're not going to tell them what your takeaway was?
Oh, I mean, I kind of already said it. My takeaway is just, being more self-aware of things within myself. Yeah, like just like I said it earlier. Know what bothers me as to why it bothers me. Am I justified to be bothered? And is it something that I have is it something that I have the audacity to even speak about? That was my takeaway from it. And like I said, I still process everything. Listen, we're growing together on this, all right?
Exactly.
We're growing together on this.
We people here that we don't strive for perfection, baby. Perfection. We are men or just people of progress. You did.
That's a fact.
And so with that, beautiful people, let's have a blessed and beautiful
I hate that I
day.
know this.
Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. And let's be about it. Blow the blowhorn. Blow the blowhorn. Blow the blowhorn.
You have neighbors. Got neighbors.